Hello, hello, beautiful Instagram. My name is Saber, for those of you who don't know me yet. And I am the CEO and co-founder of the Wealth Warriors Emporium, LLC, which is an amazing community of conscious entrepreneurs, women and men as well, who really desire to live their life and earn money in a way that's out of the traditional box. People that don't want to trade their time for money, that don't want to hop on sales calls, that don't want to do one-on-ones, that don't want to pitch products. And we do automated high-ticket affiliate marketing. It's pretty freaking incredible. We get to actually get paid to be us and monetize our social media. I teach free trainings on how to do this. So if you're ever interested at any point with this conversation that I'm going to be having with a beautiful soul sister, her name is Colleen M. Coyne. She actually has a really beautiful story all the way from being a stripper for actually 6 years and going into like low ticket MLM type of industry for a while. And then she actually found me when I was living in Costa Rica, sharing this business model, and it really revolutionized her vision and how she's really showing up and sharing and now creating wealth in a really powerful, sustainable way. She's like really on her way to blossoming in the most powerful way, and I'm really excited for you guys to hear her story. So you could just drop a flame in the comments if you are interested in tuning into the free training that really breaks down how this model goes. That's not what this live is about today, but it's really to just share a woman's story from stripping to empowerment, truly. So I'm gonna just bring her on here right now. Oopsies. My filter's going crazy. Okay, there we go.
Hello, beautiful
Hi,
sister.
love.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Very well today.
Yay. I'm so happy that you're coming on here today to share. I know I realized the last time we did a live together was like October 2021. I was like, okay, we need to
It's been a while.
Update this.
A lot
It's been a while.
has transpired.
Yeah. So I shared a little bit about, who you are and really the bits and pieces of how your story has unfolded to now. But I guess let's just really start with that, like where has your journey really taken you to up until finding me when I was living in Costa Rica to where you are now? Just give us the synopsis. Let us hear your
sister,
message.
it has been a journey. It has been quite the journey. I mean, as she had mentioned, 6 years prior to the lockdown, I was stripping. And so when the lockdowns happened, I knew that I needed to make massive changes. I had been in a major downward spiral. And so the lockdowns really gave me this opportunity to unravel all of these trauma threads that had been playing out in my life. And I had kind of gotten swirled up in some of the drug and alcohol abuse in that industry. And so what's been transpiring for me since I found you, Saber, is that I really have anchored into my deeper soul mission that has been calling to me since I had my big spiritual awakening back in 2011. Like, it's so freaking cool to finally feel like I have been tearing down all of these walls of compartmentalization, of traumas, of all of the ways that we are programmed to fit in these boxes that we are never meant to fit in the first place. And so it's been so cool to also be just unraveling these masks that, again, that we put these masks on in society, that everything's okay, that we're just going through our day to day. And so since I've met you, you've really inspired me to fully own who I am, my story, my empowered self, and to really liberate myself with this beautiful business vehicle, and then also with the massive community of thousands of other conscious entrepreneurs who have turned their mess into their message. It's not like we all just kind of showed up like this. It's like we all have come from very adverse backgrounds and we all have our story. And so yeah, it's been really beautiful to finally be anchoring in my soul mission to empower other women to own their story. And while I'm doing my healing work too, it's been the best thing that's ever happened to me.
So powerful. I think it's so amazing that like during the lockdowns, it really taught you a lot. You know, lots of people in many different industries were like, okay, we have to like figure out different solutions. And for you, it's also like about your health, you know. And I know that's actually what drew you to the previous company that you partnered with. That was a low ticket network marketing company. And I'm curious if you would be open to like sharing a little bit about your experience with that and like because I feel like at the end of the day, a lot of people are exploring affiliate marketing in many different realms of it because they do like the idea of being on social media and building a brand. However, not all business models are created equal, you know, like ours is automated and high ticket and not a lot of people get it because they're like, what is it that you actually sell? And it's like the reason why we actually don't lead with products is because it's a twofold, like it's two companies, it's a whole business model. So I guess for people who are still kind of scratching their heads and they're kind of wondering like, you know, is it one of those things? I would love if you just like share a little bit about your experience of, you know, why you chose to partner with a low ticket network marketing company, but also like why at the end of the day you saw what we did was
Yeah. Oh my
radically
gosh. I'm so
different.
glad that we're having this conversation because yeah, so the low ticket network marketing company that I partnered with, a beautiful organic superfood company, I had been taking the product since 2017. I was the one, you know, in the back at the strip club drinking my protein shakes in the back and it was, you know, I had actually gone to a couple of events and my best friend who introduced me to that was like, girl, this is your way out of stripping. Like, like, why don't you get on it? And so I was inspired at that time to, you know, in 2017 when I initially was introduced to this, but I also, yeah, I was like stripping easy money. And even though I saw that like this could be a way to build, I was in major cognitive dissonance because I was partying hard. And then I'm like, and I'm going to be trying to sling superfood products. Like there was just like not, it wasn't congruent, right, with my lifestyle. And so that's where I was like, how do I do this? You know, and I really saw that with kind of being introduced to that community, I saw that the online space was like blooming and I had so much resistance to it because I didn't want my family to find out that I was stripping and that, you know, I felt like I was like, all right, I'm going to hide, you know, and keep this part of my life hidden. And so when the world shut down, I was like, all right, like I already have, you know, I've been taking these products. This is the next most, you know, best idea for me to actually go and start building an online business because as we know, during the lockdowns, everything was so uncertain. And I was like, well, this is the only thing that makes the most sense for me to just like start, you know, building an online business. I was able to get actually unemployment at that time. I was definitely like super grateful for that support from the government and to have kind of a little bit of a cushion to start learning the online space and learning how to use social media. I had no previous experience. So if you're like, I don't know how to do any of this and I don't want people to find out what I, you know, who I actually am and who am I actually, you know, outside of like who we you know, show up out in the outside world as. And so I just took the opportunity to start learning, to start going to the meetings, and it was really beautiful to have this, you know, these beautiful superfood products that actually supported me in quitting drinking. I did a 10-day cleanse and quit drinking at that time. And then about 6 months later in September of 2020, I was like, I need to quit smoking because my voice was so I had been just smoking and not taking care of myself. And it was a way of me constricting my truth. And so you know, taking those products, it was like really beautiful to also be receiving these social media skill sets to, you know, being encouraged to do my first lives on Instagram and on Facebook. And it's so cool to look back at those now because I've come so far. And that's really what this is about, is just literally doing the thing. It's all about practice. It's all about just showing up and leaning into how uncomfortable it is to actually be seen, and just knowing that that is our transformation, and people witness that. And it's, yeah, it was really beautiful to have that support, like I said, with the community. And it was amazing, but I also, I say that I was caught in kind of the low ticket hustle too, because I quickly saw like, all right, I'm making a little bit of money, but when it was right around the time that we connected in fall of 2020 that I was like, I feel like something deeper is brewing for me. And, you know, I was kind of like my deeper soul mission is calling. And, you know, I had also been in touch with a couple of coaches to explore possibly creating my own soul offer, because I was like, all right, this low ticket network marketing company is really, you know, it's helping me build these skill sets, but I started seeing that like long term it didn't feel like it was going to be sustainable. And I was like, oh, like trying to start leading these group cleanses, and I was just like, I still feel like I have so much of my own healing work that I want to devote myself to. And yeah, it wasn't really like lining up with this longer term vision. And so yeah, when we initially connected, I was like exploring hiring a coach to develop my own soul offer. And I'm so glad that you kept like touching in with me, like, hey, like you get to just build a personal brand being yourself with a high ticket offer. And I was like, who is this woman? Like, it sounds like exactly what I'm looking for, but I'll just watch this later, the masterclass. And gosh, I'm so glad that you were patient with me and continued to pulse in with me, because it was like, oh, like once I saw the masterclass, it was like, all right, I thought all of the boxes were checked with the superfood company, but then I was like, oh my gosh, all right. Like it was just like a no brainer for me, to go all in with this. I just knew. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember we had this conversation actually, like you loved what you were doing, you know, you loved what you were doing when you were like, but I was like,
I know.
And this is the thing, like, oh, this is like such the big thing. I get like, I feel like complacency is really scary. You know, like if we're doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, it's like, yes, entrepreneurship is entrepreneurship, right? Nothing's linear. It's going to take time for anything. But it's like, I love how you said you thought you had the boxes checked, but then I mean, even for me, you know, I'm always open. Like, seriously, show me an opportunity that's even better. I will be open to that. It hasn't happened.
Yeah.
But I'm open to it. Like, that's the point, you know? Like, it's like we have to stay open to being like, you know, that there's always another level for us, you know? There's always another layer. There's always another, like level for you. And so I want to address, like, numbers real quick, because what is like the most in a single sale that you were able to make with your previous company, and what was the amount that you made from your first sale?
Yeah.
Here.
So yeah, the first sale with the low ticket network marketing company, it was like back in 2017, I guess because you know, I had made a couple of sales when I first initially signed up, and it was about $60 for one package. It was about $60.
Mm-hmm. And then, which to a lot of people watching this are probably like, oh, that's sweet, you know? But wait for this. Now, this is when you might want to drop a flame in the comments. Yeah. This is all broken down in the training, how this works. So, Colleen, how much did you make
with the first package? It was $2,700. Yeah.
Drop a flame for the free training. It's free, guys. It's literally like about an hour long. It's going to drop at like exactly how this works. So it's really powerful. Now, here's my other question. Do you have to do calls? Did you ever hop on a single sales call to make that particular sale happen?
Yeah.
That's amazing. And now, like like, do you feel an obligation to anybody? Like, do you feel like you have to like, do you feel like their success is up to you now? Or do you feel like you have freedom to actually know that they're doing their own due diligence and they have support? Or do you feel like you're the one that has
So
to
this has
coach them?
been a huge learning curve for me. The more that I'm holding the posture, and that's about the self-leadership, empowering all of us to embody ourselves as leaders of ourselves. So I at this point like I'm yeah, and I don't feel obligated to be there every step of the way, because we do have all of the automation. And, you know, to be honest, like that has been one of the biggest mindset shifts that I've had to go through in the last couple of years, is unraveling this wounded mother archetype in my mind of like, I need to help them and like be, you know, be supportive. And I am in so many ways, but the best support that we can give is to empower everyone who comes into this to plug right into all of the systems that we have, because it's not systems that fail, it's people that fail. Yeah,
Totally. Yeah, I think that's really, really important to note, because it's like, you know, what you're saying with your other company is that you were going to have to like coach them in their health journey and like all these things, and then they're on auto ship and blah blah blah. You know, also what's the first thing that people cancel when recessions happen, like we're in right now, is auto ships. They're like, okay, let's take out the like things that are non-essential. And then I think it's important to see how like in this space, it's like, it's not a freedom business if you have to like show up and coach people. Like, yes, there's always going to be leadership and support, and there's ways that we can do that, but it's not a freedom business if you are the only person doing it, which is often what a lot of these other kind of models are. It's like people feel like, you know, one day they're working at a grocery store stocking shelves, and then they all of a sudden are supposed to be like a professional online business mentor.
yeah. Yeah, well,
You know?
and that's a huge point that you make, is actually, yeah, that was another box that was checked here, that was like the huge one that was missing with the last network marketing company, is all of the training with the platform that we have. It was like, oh, like I don't have to create a codependent relationship with anyone who decides to partner with me. And that is so, yeah, it's
Your life.
huge, because that's also duplication. That's literally how we're able to create that in the B box in the cash flow quadrant, as a business owner, to be able to duplicate and to not have to be there every single step of the way. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then from your journey from stripping as well, like how do you see, then we'll wrap this up. This will be like my last question for you. But how do you see like what we're doing here in the online space being like a powerful opportunity for women to really create something different for themselves, you know? Because I know there's a lot of women out there that are creating like an OnlyFans. And hey, like I'm never going to shame like stripping or like any of this stuff. Like, hey, I'm a pole dancer. I'd be down to go to rookie night and just try it out. But I know that I wouldn't do it as a career, because like I know what's possible here. But you know, all of us women have thought about selling photos of our feet, or starting an OnlyFans, or doing stripping. And some of us because we want to, but also some of us because we think, well, that's like the best way we can make money as women. So how do you, like, what do you have to say to the woman who kind of is in that paradigm, right? Like maybe they have kids, maybe they're working jobs and they like want to travel, but like they feel like that's the only out for them.
This is a really important one that you're asking, because I feel like so often, especially women who are working in the industry, it's like there's a lot of, for myself, I was called to do that work to liberate myself sensually and sexually. And I was like, oh, like I also get to make a lot of money doing this, and I don't have to answer to anybody else. But at the same time, I was paying paying a stage, you're paying a stage fee. You're basically at the whim of the club. And it's also, I recognize how much of these layers of like, you're calling in a sugar daddy to walk into the club. Like, let's be honest, ladies, like, even if you've never worked in the industry, there's still, I think for a lot of us, there's this like idea of like, can someone just come and save me? Can someone just come and save me? And then, life will be good or whatever. And it's up to us to take responsibility, and I feel like for the longer that we're in the industry, if we're getting that like hint of like, I need to start finding something, because eventually it's like, you can't do that forever. I mean, you could. I definitely worked with some women who were like 50 years old still stripping, and that was, I mean, it was awesome, but at the same time, it's like at a certain point, like how, there's something after that, and I think it's so empowering to be like, oh, like I'm going to start building an online business so that I have this, and you can start building this out, like as you're making a transition out of that work. And just to give a little monetary, like my best night was about 4K. That was awesome. That was an awesome night. But I was in this continuous, like having to pay all of the money that I made to take care of myself, because there was so much energy output. There's so much energy output in that industry. And so it's all about like coming back home to self, and like knowing that you can be fully liberated outside of that industry. And that's really the path that I've been on, is like, how do I show up as my most liberated self in my sensuality and sexuality in a healthy way without exchanging my sexual energy for money? Like, there's so many deep layers. Like, we could probably have a conversation all day about that. Like,
I know. I was like, I know I wanted to really like lead with your story from that, but then also speak to this, because it was a big part of your transition. And it's so huge, with the stripping piece. It's like, I think at the end of the day, like, we really have to ask ourselves, like, why are we not building something that actually belongs to us? Sure, we might love different things that we do. I talk to lots of people that are like, I love my job. I love the people I work with. I love my boss, et cetera, et cetera. Or like, I love my business, even though they're working a lot. But it's like, we still have to ask ourselves, does it really belong to me? And is it really sustainable? Like, for instance, it's like, if the lockdowns didn't teach us that, then what's going to teach us that? We have to really make the decision of doing that, because like, who's to say we won't go on lockdown all of a sudden tomorrow?
Yeah.
I did not expect that. I didn't expect it. None of us did, right? So like, why after all of that, we continue to work for someone else? It's almost like an abusive relationship, really, that pattern. It's like, hello, it wasn't really fully fulfilling, but it was like, yes, come save me. And then all of a sudden it gets taken away from you, but then you come back because we're not really taking the reins of our own lives to create something that belongs to you. And I think at the end of the day, that's like the biggest message that I would love to impart with our audience that's really seeing this here. It's like queens, truly, if you are doing whatever form of art, whatever form of passion, maybe it's fulfilling, maybe it's not. Either way, does it belong to you? And if it does not, if it's something that if we had another lockdown tomorrow that you wouldn't be able to have a solution for yourself, your current family or future family, or just your life, your future, then please drop a flame below in the comments, or reach out to the person whoever's page or group you're watching this on. Like if you're watching this in a group or a podcast or whatever it is, just reach out to the person whose page you're watching this on, who shared this with you, and ask them to tune into this free training on how to create wealth being yourself on social media. Because once you build something that really belongs to you, you have that, right? You have that as a powerful foundation baseline. You could still go stripping if you want. You could still have an OnlyFans if you want. You could do whatever the hell it is you want. But you know what you can do when you can't do that anymore is you know that you made the right decisions earlier on. Your future self is going to be thanking past self for like actually making the decisions for you to really truly be protected in yourself and your wealth. And it's fucking important.
Yes.
So celebrating everybody who's going to be diving into that, because it's life changing. And Colleen, you know, put this off for a little bit as well, looking into it, kind of being lost in the sauce of her own stuff, because she thought everything was good. I love what I do. It's all good. But you know, like, we don't know anything until we actually know something. And yeah, so I'm really grateful that you leaned in and you got to really get your paradigm rocked. And I'm really happy that you like continue to open up to like new ways and new forms of being on how you can actually live your life in like being coachable on how you can be more efficient, be more productive, be more powerful, be more in flow.
Oh, thank you so much. And that is the ripple impact that we came here to make too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Giving people permission, you know, like when we do that for ourselves, then it gives other people permission, because then it's not all of a sudden those like lucky people, you know. That's why we get to share our story and turn our message to our message of like, you know, like if I can do this, you can do this too. It doesn't matter the experience. It doesn't matter whatever it is. All that really matters is courage. Life changes in the direct proportion to one's courage to leap. So again, drop a flame in the comments or reach out to the person who shares this video with you if you're ready to leap and learn how to make automated high-ticket affiliate marketing sales, because it will freaking change your life. So thank you so much, Colleen, for being here today. I really appreciate you. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Love you. Bye.